What's going on, guys? Welcome to 4th and 25 with J-Ram, a college football show. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day out there. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Hope you're having a wonderful day. All right, so we got a loaded show today. Let's get into some college football talk, shall we? Let's do our normal. First off, we'll do a quick review of this past weekend. All right, guys. So let's jump into our weekend review, shall we? So first things first, let's talk about a game that happened Friday night. This was fun. Tulane 38, Memphis 32. This was a heck of a ball game. Tulane quarterback Jake Retzlaff comes out and plays really well. 16 to 23, 332, three touchdown passes, run for 43, and another score, totaling 375 and four touchdowns. Tulane's defense gets 6 sacks on the quarterback. These two teams, this was a sloppy game penalty-wise, 17 combined. Memphis did make a fourth quarter rally. They were down by double digits, but came up just short here in a 6-point loss. But big win for Tulane in the American race as they stay alive for the G5 playoff spot. And this conference has got 5 teams tied for first place right now, including that Tulane team you see right there. Good win for Tulane, though, as they get it done 38 to 32. All right, next up. How about this game? Oh, wait, wrong one. I'm sorry. How about this game? Indiana 27, Penn State 24. This was fun. This was crazy. Play of the year, probably, definitely catch of the year in college football. Indiana clutch at the very end and gets it win. Omar Cooper Jr. has the game-winning touchdown with 36 seconds left. That catch was bonkers. That was an insanely good catch he made. Fernando Mendoza clutch, throws for 218 and a score, runs for a score, leads that big drive. Charlie Becker, 118 yards receiving. And then Indiana linebacker Elijah Hardy, great game for him. 12 total tackles, 7 solo, a sack, tackle for loss. But Indiana looked like they were on the ropes, looked like they were going to lose, looks like they were in trouble. I was very nervous about this game. I thought too many people were automatically giving Indiana the win. Penn State had nothing to play for, nothing to lose, and they played hard. They just came up short. But Indiana gets it done 27 to 24. Heck of a ball game. All right, next up, let's move on and take a look at our next game. Who's next on my page? Crap. Oh, page is getting stuck together. All right, next up, let's go to Lubbock, Texas. Texas Tech 29, BYU 7. This was a butt kicking, and it could have been way more one-sided, but Texas Tech didn't quite score as many touchdowns when they kicked some field goals. Cameron Dickey, 121 yards rushing, a touchdown, 24 receiving. Jacob Rodriguez, maybe the best linebacker in college football. He plays at Texas Tech. This man is putting up stats every week. He had 14 total tackles, 9 solos, a tackle for loss, had a pick, and a fumble recovery. Helped orchestrate this win for the Red Raiders. Big time win for Texas Tech. They take control of the Big 12, and they also they moved to 9-1, and they got UCF on tech. But this is a really good football team in Lubbock, and they proved it beating a top 10 BYU team, 29 to 7. All right, next up, Texas A&M 38, Missouri 17. A pretty decisive road win for the Aggies as they go into Columbia and get it done. Marcel Reed throws for 221 and 2 scores. Ruben Owens 100 yards rushing, 2 scores. And the A&M defense continues to be clutch as always. They held Mizzou to 284. Total yards, only 77 passing. Mizzou was 5 of 13 on third downs, turned the ball over twice. Now, of course, Mizzou was without their quarterback. He's out for the year with an injury. His backup, I don't think, ever even started, so this was his first start, and he learned the hard way. A&M also time of possession, 35 minutes and 46 seconds of keeping the football. But this game was never in doubt. A&M took control early, and they never let off. A&M gets it done, 38 to 17 on the road. All right, next up, let's roll on to Iowa. In this game, Oregon 18, Iowa 16. Say what you want about the elements, they weren't pretty. I liked it. Rain, cool, wind. I thought it was cool to watch. But Oregon gets a clutch win. Atticus Sappington with a game-winning field goal at the end for the Ducks as they win at 18-16. 3 out of 3 on his kicks, long of 46. Noah Whittington, Oregon's running back, had 100 yards rushing, 118. Jerry Mixon, their linebacker, 13 total tackles, 9 solos, fumble recovery, and a tackle for loss. But good game on the road, hostile environment against a ranked foe because Iowa was ranked and they still are ranked. So this is a good win. The Ducks get it done though, 18-16 in an Iowa type of game. All right, next up. This game really wasn't high on the radar, but I thought it would be entertaining, and it was. Arizona 24, Kansas 20. Congrats to Arizona. They're going bowling. They're bowl eligible with this win. Noah Fafita 158 through the air, 2 scores. Kansas actually outgained Arizona in every statistic except for the one that matters, the scoreboard. I mean, Arizona only had the ball for 24 minutes and 30 seconds. Yards per carry, Arizona 5.7, Kansas 4.3. But it turned out to be the deciding factor. Arizona gets a big-time win here, and they become bowl eligible, 24-20. All right, moving on. Talking about a crazy game in the SEC. This is what this was. Vanderbilt 45, Auburn 38 in overtime. Diego Pavia comes back for the Texas loss and balls out. This man had 489 yards of offense, 4 total touchdowns. He throws for 377 and 3 scores, runs for 112 and another score. Plays a phenomenal game for the Commodores. Trey Richardson, 3 catches, 124 touchdown. Eli Stowers had 12 catches for 122 yards. With over 1,100 yards of offense between these two, 563 to 544. One deciding factor, Auburn, 12 penalties in this game. Vanderbilt, 3. So very sloppy. Vanderbilt, very disciplined. But the Commodores get a big win here and move to 8-2. They are off next week, and then they've got Kentucky and Tennessee left to go and keeping their somewhat still alive playoff hopes. But a big win here for Vandy to get them back on track. 45-38. All right, next up. How about an upset in the Big Ten? Check this out. Wisconsin 13, Washington 10. Did not see this coming at all. The story of this game, though, was Wisconsin's defense. They were phenomenal. Mason Posa, linebacker, 11 total tackles, 6 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, pass deflected. Also, Cooper Catalano in their linebacking core. He had 19 total tackles. He had a lot of tackles. 12 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss. Wisconsin's defense had 4 sacks, 2 turnovers forced. Held Washington to 251 in total offense, 134 through the air, 117 rushing. Only 3 penalties by the Badgers. Washington had 8. Wisconsin just shut them down, and they played them to those elements. A low-scoring game. It was so nice to see this. But a great win for Wisconsin. Ironically, the day after their athletic director said Luke Fickell would be back next year as their coach, and this helps them. So while their bowl hopes are still pretty much on life support at 3-6, this is still a good win to maybe build off of for the future. Wisconsin 13, Washington 10. All right, next up, Clemson and Florida State. Cannot believe this game was on the ACC network. Did not think I'd ever see that, but the seasons they've had tells the story. Clemson gets the win, 24-10. Mike Norvell's seat gets hotter and hotter. Cade Klubenik throws for 221 and a score, runs for a score. Sammy Brown at linebacker, 9 tackles, 3 solos, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. Third downs, both teams struggled. Florida State 5 of 15, Clemson 4 of 15. Penalties 5-2 FSU. Florida State turned the ball over twice. Think about that. That's points you lose, possibly. Clemson outgained Florida State in time of possession, 34-22 to 25-38. So good ball control there by the Tigers. But Clemson gets the win. If nothing else, this is a good one for Dabo to live off of and for Florida State fans to breathe a little bit of a sigh. For Clemson fans, at least you can say you beat Florida State. So 24-10, Tigers roll. Next up, ACC, we continue. How about some upsets? Did not see this coming, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised considering where the ACC is. Wake Forest 16, Virginia 9. This was a big upset. Virginia was, of course, 8-1 in the top 15. Chandler Morris, their talented quarterback, though, he leaves the game in the second quarter with an injury that kind of changed the complexion of the game a little bit. Wake Forest's defense, though, was phenomenal. Dallas Ofana and Newer Gutworth, I can't pronounce it, both had a sack. Defense does not allow Virginia to score a touchdown, holds them to 3 of 14 on third down conversions, and forces 3 turnovers. So, just like Wisconsin, Wake's defense balled out here. Great job. Wake Forest gets the win, 16-9. All right, another upset in the ACC. Let's head up to Louisville, Kentucky. I get this one for some reason doesn't shock me, but in overtime, Cal beats Louisville 29-26. Great win for the Golden Bears. Their quarterback, Jaron Kuvu, I don't know how you say that last name, throws for 323, 2 scores. Jacob D. Jesus, star receiver for Cal, 16 catches, 158 and a touchdown. Third downs, Cal at 8 of 18. Louisville 6 of 17. Cal outgained Louisville 427 to 351. Cal outpassed them 350 to 203. So, what a win for the Golden Bears. Another upset in the wild, wacky, what the hell do we call this ACC? Sorry for the cuss word, but the ACC is very frustrating to figure out. All right, next up, let's go to Tuscaloosa. Alabama gets it done in a old school Bama. This was like a Nick Saban Bama kind of game. Alabama 20, LSU 9. Alabama's defense was obviously the main star here, but Ty Simpson still 277 a score. Penalties, LSU 10, Alabama 2. Jeez. Alabama's defense holds LSU to 5 of 14 on third downs, no touchdowns, 232 in total yards, held them to 59 in rushing yards, and 2 turnovers forced. So the Tide keep on winning and keep on headed towards Atlanta. Alabama 20, LSU 9. All right, next up, let's go to the SEC. And this was a stunner. A beatdown. A beatdown. Kentucky beats down Florida 38-7 in Lexington. Say what you want. Has Florida quit? Did they care? I don't know. Not my business. But I'm just shocked Kentucky won this game as bad as they did. Coder Bowley throws for 168, 2 scores. Running back Dante Dubell, 100 yards, a touchdown. Kentucky's defense has been one of their shiner spots here recently. 247 total yards allowed, only 104 rushing, and 4 turnovers forced. Great job by Kentucky. This was a good win. They play Tennessee Tech on Saturday. If they win that game, they're at 5 wins, and they realistically could still get to a bowl game because they have Vandy and Louisville left. Who knows, rivalry games. But crazy to think Kentucky, where they were not long ago, they're still in bowl contention. 38-7, the final. All right, Nebraska. This game was fun. This was actually not a bad game. Nebraska 28, UCLA 21. New quarterback TJ Lateef for Nebraska, 205 passing, 31 rushing, 3 total touchdowns. Has a good game in his debut as a starter. Emmett Johnson, Nebraska's running back. This young man put on a show. 129 rushing, a score, 103 receiving, 2 scores, totaling 232 and 3 scores. Nebraska outgained UCLA 361 to 348. Good win for Matt Rule's team as they go on the road. Nebraska 28, UCLA 21. All right, one more game we're gonna do real quick. This was a game we had circled in the Mountain West. Did not see this coming. Hawaii 38, San Diego State 6. Warriors roll here. Micah Aljado 256 through the air, 3 touchdowns. What a game for Jackson Harris, the receiver for Hawaii. 7 catches for 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a great game. Third downs, Hawaii was 9 of 17, and San Diego State was 2 out of 14. Yikes. Total yards 386 to 267. Hawaii cruised, and San Diego State turns the ball over 4 times. But the Warriors get it done. This is a great win for them. 38-6. And the Mountain West still unpredictable. All right, next up, let's go to our players of the week. Let's start with our offensive players of the week. Diego Pavia of Vandy, 489 in total offense, 4 touchdowns. Great game for him. Antoine Raymond, the Rutgers running back, 41 carries for 240 and a score in their win over Maryland. We just talked about Jackson Harris, the Hawaii receiver, has a great game, 7 catches for 130 and 3 scores. Jacob D. Jesus, the Cal receiver, 16 catches for 158 and a score. Tulane quarterback Jake Retzlaff, talked about him, 375 in total offense, 4 touchdowns. Georgia running back Nate Frazier, great game, 12 carries for 181 and a score in their win over Mississippi State. Nebraska running back Emmett Johnson, 232 total yards, 3 scores. And finally, Akron running back Jordan Gant had 153 yards and 2 scores in their win over UMass last week. They played last night, of course, losing to Kent State. All right, so that is your offensive players of the week. Now let's go to defense. Starting with, here's something you don't see very often. I'm going to give one of them to a player on a losing team. UCLA DB Philip Dunman, he had a great game against Houston, 4 tackles, 3 solos, 3 interceptions. One of them returned for a touchdown. Great game for him despite their loss. Jacob Rodriguez, the Texas Tech linebacker, we talked about him, 14 total tackles, 9 solo, 1 tackle for loss, fumble recovery, and an interception. Mason Poza, the Wisconsin linebacker, 11 tackles, 6 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, pass deflected, and a fumble recovery. Isaiah Smith, SMU defensive end, in their win over BC, 9 tackles, 7 solo, 4 sacks by him alone, and 4 tackles for loss. Hell of a game for him. Elijah Hardy, the Indiana linebacker, 12 total tackles, 7 solos, sack, tackles for loss. North Carolina, 9 sacks. This defense had 9 sacks in their win over Stanford. 2 by Andrew Simpson at linebacker. You had 3 by D lineman Milcart Abu and linebacker Tyler Thompson. And then you had a sack by defensive lineman Smith Gilbert. All right, next. Is this the rest of them? Yeah. UConn linebackers Byron Parham and Umar Demande. All right, so Parham, 16 total tackles, 7 solos, a sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, a pick. And then Demande, 14 tackles, 6 solo, a sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. And then to finish out, Dylan Frazier, linebacker at Sam Houston, 13 total tackles, 5 solos, a sack, and a tackle for loss in his Bearcats upset win over Oregon State. All right, special teams. Here we go. We've got the Texas Tech duo of kicker Stone Harrington and punter Jack Burgess. Harrington 5 of 5 on his field goals, long of 47, made both extra points, 17 points total. Burgess 5 punts, a 52.8 yard average, 1 touchback, 2 inside the 20, long of 61. Missouri State punter Stuart McDonald 6 punts, a 47.2 yard average, a touchback, 3 inside the 20, and he boomed 171 yards. That's a strong leg. Tim Burns Jr. of Sam Houston in the return game, 3 kick returns, 45-yard average, and a 98-yard touchdown. Oregon kicker Addis Sappington, we just talked about him, 3 of 3, long of 46, extra point, 10 points in their rainy win over Iowa. Nate Reed, Delaware kicker against La Tech, 4 of 4 on field goals, long of 51, and he made extra points, so 13 total points. Alex Clark, the Tulane punter, against Memphis, 5 kicks, 48.2 yard average, 1 inside the 20, long of 61. And then finally, Connor Colbert, kicker of Wake against Virginia, 3 of 3 on his field goals, long of 50, made an extra point, scoring 10 of Wake Forest's 16 points in their win over Virginia, their upset win. And finally, SMU punter Wade McSperrin, 5 punts, 47.8 yard average, touchback, 1 inside 20, long of 53. I'm sorry. All right. So that is a review of the week. Now let's go to my top 25. Here's who just missed my top 25: South Florida, North Texas, Tulane. I dropped Iowa out. Kind of starting to wish I hadn't, but I did. And then Houston. So those are the 5 that are just on the outside. Here's J Ram's new top 25. This is just my personal ranking. Missouri hanging on at 25th. James Madison, welcome to the show. You are in 24th and rightfully deserving. Cincinnati at 23rd, Pitt 22. You got Tennessee hanging at 21st. I moved Michigan to 20. I've got Louisville dropping to 19. Virginia just above them, dropping at 18. USC 17. I've got Utah 16. Miami's 15. We got Vandy at 14. Texas is at 13. I'm not quite as high on Texas as most people are, but they got a chance to really turn my opinion against Georgia this coming weekend. BYU drops to 12 after the Texas Tech loss. I got Georgia Tech at 11. I still think I got them currently as the best ACC team, just my opinion. Oklahoma's at 10. We're going to see what they're made of in Tuscaloosa Saturday. Notre Dame 9. I got Texas Tech at 8. I think I've got Texas Tech a little low probably now, but it is what it is. Ole Miss is 7. I've got Oregon 6. Georgia's 5. Bama 4. A&M 3. Indiana 2. I can definitely see the argument for A&M ahead of Indiana. I really can. And then I got Ohio State number 1. So that is J-Ram's updated top 25. Now, let's take a look at J-Ram's bottom 10 of awfulness. So, we've got just missing the top 10 of the bottom 10. You got Arkansas at 2 and 7. You've got Northern Illinois, who lost last night, who plays UMass tonight. UTEP and Purdue. Now, the bottom 10. Oregon State at number 10. Cannot believe they lost to Sam Houston. Number 9 is Tulsa. Number 8, Sam Houston. Even though you won, you still got a problem. Nevada checks in at 7. Georgia State 6. I got Boston College at 5. It's crazy to see them this bad. Charlotte 4. Oklahoma State getting no love at number 3. Middle Tennessee number 2. And then number 1 placed tonight, UMass. They're the worst team in the country. The only winless team left, guys. So, rightfully deserving of that number 1 spot. All right. Next up. Oh, yeah, okay. So let's do news and notes. All right, guys. So, a couple of news and notes. Nothing real major. We didn't have no coaches get fired for a change. Brian Kelly, former LSU coach, is seeking $54 million that he is owed after rejecting two settlement offers from LSU. So, could be an ugly situation on the Bayou. Missouri State of Conference USA is appealing to the NCAA about the bowl ban for transitional years because they're eligible. I hope they'll get that overturned so they can play in a bowl game. And then check this out. I made note of this. Check out the ACC standings. This is how bad the ACC is right now. Look at this. Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pitt, SMU, and Duke all have 1 loss. Duke is 5-4, by the way, with 1 loss in conference play. That just shows you how much of a train wreck this conference is. But it'll pan itself out. Virginia plays Duke this weekend. I know Georgia Tech still got to play Pitt. But it's a mess. Hey, Terry Walker. Well, you missed part of it. We done our weekend recap and players of the week in my top 25. Now, we're fixing to get into the playoff poll here in just a minute, if that's what you're wondering. All right, so anyway, there's a little bit of a look at the ACC. All right, let's take a look at the new playoff poll. The new college football playoff top 25. Poll came out last night, so Cincinnati comes back in at 25th. Hello, South Florida, our first G5 appearance. We actually have a G5 team in here. I think it's the wrong one, but that's just my opinion. South Florida's 24th. Tennessee jumps in at 23rd. Pitt 22. Look at Iowa. Loses to Oregon. Only dropped 1 spot. Hanging in 21st. So, committee showing the Hawkeyes a lot of love for that close loss to Oregon. Louisville drops to 20. Virginia drops to 19. Seems like them two can't get away from each other. I mean, Virginia owns the tiebreaker, I guess. Michigan hanging at 18. USC 17. Georgia Tech at 16. Miami's 15. So Miami is actually ahead of Georgia Tech. Hey, Andrew. So anyway, Miami is the top ACC team in the playoff ranking. I don't agree with that. I think Georgia Tech should be ahead of them, but that's just my 2 cents. This has a chance to pan itself out. Anyway, Vanderbilt says hello at 14. They're up to 14. Vanderbilt's interesting. They're off this week. You got Kentucky next and then Tennessee. Win those two. Are you in the playoff? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to watch. Utah hanging the same at 13. I like the spot Utah's in. BYU says high at 12. Oklahoma and Texas pretty much stay the same at 11 and 10. As you've seen in my poll, I've actually got OU ahead of Texas right now. Notre Dame 9, Oregon 8. Ole Miss drops a spot to 7. They pretty much flip with Texas Tech. As Texas Tech goes to 6, Ole Miss is 7. I don't have no problem with that. I mean, Texas Tech just beat a top 10 team, so I completely understand that. Georgia's 5, BYU 4, Texas A&M 3, Indiana number 2, and Ohio State at number 1. No shock. So this is where we are 2 weeks into this playoff poll. This is the only one that really matters. So, and it's going to change some. I mean, you got number 4 playing number 11 this weekend. You got number 5 playing number 10 this weekend. Yeah, so it's going to work itself out. Plus, you got 17 playing 21. So it'll pan itself out. All right, good pace for today. We're moving along just nicely. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get ready to do our predictions. All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25 with Jay. We're along good pace today because I got some stuff I've got to go do. All right, moving on. Let's get into our predictions part for this coming weekend. We got some big games on the horizon. We've got 4 ranked versus ranked matchups, so we got some big ones. Let's start at 11 a.m. We got Notre Dame and Pitt, both are in the top 20 in the poll. You've got 2 very high-scoring offenses. Notre Dame is 9th, Pitt is 6th in scoring. They're both roughly averaging 39, 40 points a game. Total offense, Notre Dame is 15th at 466.1, Pitt 36. Pass offense, Pitt is 11th at 302.9 yards a game. Notre Dame's 16th. Notre Dame's 26 rushing. Pitt's 104th. That tells you Pitt's a pass-first team. Third down conversions, Pitt struggling. They're 98th. Notre Dame's 24th. Fourth downs, it's completely flip-flopped. Pitt's 15th and Notre Dame's 102nd. Then you look on their defenses. Notre Dame, 17th in scoring, 45th total. They're struggling against the pass. They're 89th. 16th against the run. Then Pitt, 43rd scoring, 25th against the total defense. 97th against the pass. 3rd against the run. So Pitt can actually stop the run. They're number 3 in rush defense, allowing 80.9 yards a game. So the matchup, how will Pitt do against Jeremiah Love and the Irish's rushing attack? We shall see. Turnover margin, Pitt -1, 79th. Notre Dame +10 at 8th. Penalty yards, Notre Dame 52nd, 51.4 a game. Pitt very undisciplined, 129th at 70.2 yards per game. In the red zone, Notre Dame does struggle in the red zone here. They are 123rd in red zone scoring at 75%. Anyway, big game. Both want to make a statement. This will not hurt Pitt, obviously, in the ACC race, but this would be a good win for them on the resume. But I think Notre Dame's playing as good as anybody in the country right now. So, and I think the streak will continue. So I'm going to take Notre Dame to win this football game. I like Notre Dame over Pitt. All right, next up, let's go to the Big 12. This is a good one. You've got Arizona and Cincinnati. By the way, Notre Dame Pitt is 11 a.m. on ABC. Is that right? Let me make sure. I don't want to tell you guys the wrong information. Make myself look any dumber. Yeah, 11 a.m. ABC. Okay. Cincinnati, Arizona. This is an 11 a.m. FS1 kick. Bearcats a 6.5-point favorite. Offensively, Cincinnati is 20th scoring, 31st total, 58th through the air, 25th on the ground. Arizona's 32nd scoring, 56 total, 43rd passing, and 76th on the ground. Third down conversions, Cincinnati is much better, 45th on third downs. The number one ranked team in the country on fourth down conversions at 83.3%. Arizona's 92nd on third down, 42nd on fourth. Scoring defense, Arizona's actually a solid defense. 26th in scoring, 17th total, 7th against the pass. Then against the run, they're struggling a little bit, 61st. Cincinnati has some issues on defense. They're 46th in scoring, but they're 83rd total, 74th against the pass, 86th against the run. So, with that said, I actually struggle with this one, but I think Cincinnati knows that they've got a chance to still get to the Big 12 championship. Arizona's locked up a bowl trip, but this is going to be a sneaky good game. But I like the physicality of Cincinnati. Give me the Bearcats of Cincinnati to win this football game. All right, moving on. Let's look at a big one in the American as two of their contenders squared off. We got South Florida at Navy. This is an 11 a.m. ESPN2 kick. South Florida is actually a 10.5-point favorite as I speak. Scoring offenses. You got the number 5 USF and the number 48 Navy. Total offense, both from the top 30. USF 7, Navy's 26th. Passing offense, obviously we know who's better here. South Florida's 36, Navy's 131st because Navy, an option wing T offense, they're the number one rushing offense in America at 304.9 yards a game rushing. South Florida's number 10, so we've got two top 10 rushing attacks going at it here. Both are in the top 25 on third down conversions. Navy's 10th, USF 25th. Fourth down, South Florida is 51st, Navy's 37th. Then you look at their defenses. Scoring defense, 68th for USF. Navy is struggling on defense, period. They are 88th in scoring, 95th against the pass, 95th total, 116th against the pass, respectable 56th against the run. USF 68th in scoring, 89th total, 131st against the pass, 24th against the run. So both can run the ball and both can semi-stop the run. South Florida's obviously got the edge here with the passing game. They've got the better athletes. It's gonna be a good game. This is a big game in the American title race. They're both 7-2. They both only got one loss in conference play. I like South Florida to win this football game. Give me the Bulls to get the win on the road. All right, moving back to the wacky ACC. Here we go. Where'd my image go? Oh, there it goes. Virginia and Duke. Speaking of two of them teams with one loss, Virginia 8-2, Duke at 5-4, but it's still in contention to get to the ACC title game. So crazy. All right, Virginia and Duke. This is a 2:30 ESPN2 kick. Both from the top 30 in scoring offense, top 35 in total offense. Passing offense, Virginia's 54th, but Duke, number 4 passing attack in the country, 312.9 yards a game. The running game, Virginia's 38th. Duke struggles at 87th. Third down conversions, you got Virginia at 22nd. They're 102nd in fourth downs. Duke 59th in third downs. Fourth downs, 78.9%. Then you look at the scoring defenses. Virginia's much better at 21.6 points a game. Duke's giving up 29.1 a game. Total defense, Virginia's 40th. Duke is struggling at 106. They're giving up over 400 yards a game defensively. Pass defense, both are Virginia's 62nd. Duke is awful, though, at 128th. They're giving up 268.6 a game. Rush defense, Virginia's 31st, Duke's 51st. Turnover margin, you got a +5 for Virginia. They're 24th. Duke's defense in the red zone, 88th, allowing 41.2% scoring. Penalty yards per game, Virginia's 25th at 43.8 a game yards. Duke 125th in penalty yards at 68.8 a game. Red zone defense 92%. They're 124th. Virginia. Time of possession, Duke's 118th. Virginia 30th. Virginia, some believe, got a little bit exposed last week, and then, of course, they've been living on the edge, and then you throw in the Chandler Morris injury. I think this is an opportunity spot for Duke. At home, I think their offense is going to be ready to roll. I think Duke wins. Give me Duke. I like Duke to beat Virginia on Saturday. Just give me the Blue Devils. All right, let's move on to. Well, let's see one more thing I got for you after, but we'll do that after we pick these games. Big Ten. Iowa at USC top 21 clash. 2:30 Big Ten Network. Iowa coming off the loss to Oregon. USC's 7-2. Offensively, there's no doubt USC's the better team. They're seventh in scoring, second in total offense, 10th passing, 22nd rushing. Was 60th scoring, 122nd total, 133rd passing offense, and 48th in rushing offense. Third downs, USC is fifth in the country. Iowa's 36th. Fourth downs, Iowa 13th. USC 14th. Okay. Now defense, a little different story. Iowa is a phenomenal defense. Fifth in scoring at 13.7 points per game. Fourth in total defense, 250.2 a game. Fifth against the pass, 17th against the run. So that's the matchup. Iowa's defense against USC's offense. Who's going to reign supreme? USC on defense, 43rd scoring, 44th total, 48th total, 51st pass, 60th rush, penalty yards per game. Iowa, the number one team in the country, at least penalty yards, 20.2 per game. Very disciplined. USC 67th, 54.2. As far as being in the red zone offensively, both these teams are exceptional in the red zone. USC's 11th, scoring 93.3% of the time. Iowa's 20th at 91.9%. This should be a good game, but I got to go with USC. Give me USC to win this football game at home. I like the Trojans. All right, moving on. Let's go to this top 11 showdown in the SEC, shall we? Let's take our attention to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We've got Oklahoma, Alabama, 2:30 ABC. Sooners need this win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Bama needs to win to keep on track towards Atlanta. Scoring offense, Bama 39th, 57 total, 14th in passing, 120th in rush offense. Bama does not run the ball a lot, but if they need to, they will. Oklahoma 64th in scoring, 78th total, 62nd passing, 92nd rushing. So neither team a real effective running game. Third down percentage, Alabama's 21st, Oklahoma 55th. Fourth down, Alabama 34th, Oklahoma 60th. Now defense, this is the matchup. Both these defenses are exceptional. What defense is going to reign supreme? Scoring defense, Oklahoma 7th, Bama 13th. Total defense, Oklahoma 7th, Bama 18th. Pass defense, Bama 10th, Oklahoma 22nd. Rush defense, Oklahoma is 4th, allowing only 82.4 yards a game. Bama's 54th. Turnover margin, Oklahoma -5. That's not good. That's 112th. Alabama's 8th at +10. Penalty yards per game, Bama 25th at 43.8 a game. Oklahoma's 109th at 63.1. Red zone defense, OU is 62nd, allowing 84.2% scoring. Alabama's red zone offense is 16th in the country at 92.1%. As far as time of possession, Bama keeps it for roughly 32-18 a game, and Oklahoma right at 30 minutes. So, with that said, Alabama has not lost at home under Kalen DeBoer, and I think that continues. I think Oklahoma's going to give them a fight, but Alabama has this game circled after what happened last year in Norman, and I think they get payback. Give me Bama to beat Oklahoma this weekend. All right, next up, let's move to the American. Let's take a look at this one. This is a good one. Memphis, East Carolina. Two contenders, 3 o'clock on ESPN. Both are in the top 25 in scoring. They're both in the top 33 in total offense. Passing offense, East Carolina's 21st, 281.7. Memphis is 57th. Both in the rushing offenses. Memphis 31st, East Carolina's 33rd. Third down conversions, East Carolina 9th, 51.1%. Memphis 41st, 43.9. Fourth downs, Memphis 19th, East Carolina's 123rd. Do not get them in fourth down. 37.5%. Scoring defense. Memphis 35th, allowing 21 basically a game. East Carolina's 15th at 17.3 points per game. Total defense. Memphis 60th, East Carolina 37th. Pass defense. Memphis 85th, East Carolina 70th. Rush defense. East Carolina's 18th, Memphis 42nd. Memphis third down defense allowed 38%. Turnover margin, both are in the pluses. Memphis is 10th at a +8. So, East Carolina +5 at 24th. Red zone defense, Memphis is 23rd. And then you've got East Carolina 6th on the red zone, only allowing 69.2% scoring. Interesting. I think East Carolina's offense could give Memphis trouble here. I like the setting here. Memphis is, of course, licking their wounds after the loss to Tulane. I'm going to take East Carolina. Give me the Pirates to knock off Memphis on Saturday. All right. We've got 3 more games. We'll knock these out. It'll be a shorter show today, but got some stuff we got to do. All right. Moving on. Let's take a look at this one. We've got Utah and Baylor in the Big 12, 6:30. I'm sorry, 6 ESPN2. Utah 9.5-point favorite, trying to stay alive for the Big 12 title game, maybe, or at least a large bid into the playoff. Scoring, Utah scoring 39.6 a game. That's 7th best. Baylor's 26th at 33.8. Total offense, they're both in the top 19. Utah 477.2 a game. Baylor's right at 454. Baylor, the number 5 passing offense, 312.7 a game. Utah, number 3 rush offense, 267.1. Utah, third on the country on third downs, 21st on fourth downs. Scoring defense, Utah, 8th, 14.2 points a game. Baylor, 100th at 29.3 points per game. Total defense, yeah, defensively, this is a mismatch. Utah 16th. They're 6th against the pass, only allowing 156.8 a game. 67th, though, against the run. Baylor's 100th in scoring defense, 86 total, 53rd pass, 113th against the run. Turnover margin, Utah +1, Baylor -8. And time of possession, Utah 32-32, Memphis 29-14. This could be a sneaky trap game on the road. Utah could overlook this game. They were here a few years ago and played a really close competitive game. I think this will be a good game, but I think Utah's out to prove a mission, and I think they'll out-physical Baylor, and they'll put them away in the second half. So give me Utah to win this football game. All right, next up, let's go. We got 2 games left. This should have been the last game. I apologize, but oh well. Athens, Georgia, 6:30 ABC. Texas, Georgia, top 10 showdown. College football playoff implications. Do I dare say SEC title implications? We'll see. So, Texas, 60th scoring, 72nd total, 51st throwing the ball, 96 rushing. So Texas' offense has not been super amazing, but has played better in recent weeks. You watch the Vanderbilt game, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think Arch Manning is getting better. They are 67th on third down conversions, 117th on fourth down. Whew. Georgia's offense, 33.4 points a game. They're 29th. They're 32nd total, 60th passing, 24th running, 197.2 a game rushing. They are 16th in third down conversions at 48.3%, 12th on fourth down, 72.7. And then you do the defenses. Look at this. Texas is 11th. Georgia's 24th. Total defense. Texas is 22nd. Georgia's 20th. They both against the pass. Georgia's 58th, but Texas 96th, allowing 235 a game. Both are exceptional at stopping the run. Texas, the number 2 rush defense, allowing 78.2 yards a game. And Georgia is 12th, allowing right at 100.2. All right, turnover margin. +8 for the Longhorns, -2 for Georgia. Penalty yards per game. Texas 117th, Georgia 32nd at only 46.2. Texas is averaging 66 yards a game in penalties. Red zone offense. Texas is 81st, 83.3%. Georgia's 17th at 76. Georgia number 10 in time of possession, 33.03 game, Texas 73rd. All right, so this is a good one. I think this is going to be a great game. But Georgia rarely loses at home, and I don't see that changing. I think their defense gives Arch Manning too much trouble, maybe a couple turnovers, and then Georgia just takes control. It's going to be a close one, but I like Georgia. Give me the Dogs at home to beat the Longhorns. I will take Georgia. All right, one more game, and yep, you see that right. Conference USA is on my sheet. They're on my show. We are going to pick another Conference USA game. This could be a preview of the conference championship game in a couple of weeks. We got Kennesaw State at Jacksonville State, 7 o'clock ESPNU. You got the fourth-ranked rushing attack of Jacksonville State. They are facing a Kennesaw State run defense that is 73rd. Yikes. Kennesaw State's scoring defense 35th, 84th total, 94th pass, 73rd against the run. Ouch. Jacksonville State 83rd total scoring defense, 81st total, 99th against the pass, 50th against the run. So neither one of these teams is very effective on defense. This could be a shootout. Offensively, Kennesaw State is 80th in scoring, 26 points a game, 74th total, 83rd passing, 57th running. Jacksonville State 57th scoring, 45th total, 127th in passing because they run the ball so much. Fourth rushing at 261.2. Third down conversions, Jacksonville State at 40.9%, Kennesaw 39.2. And then fourth downs, Jacksonville State pretty effective, 21st, 66.7. Kennesaw State 80th at 50. All right. Oh, excuse me, guys. So, I did not think Jacksonville State would be in this position this year. I really thought this was a rebuilding year after Rich Rod left, but I also didn't know Cam Cook was back at running back for them. I think that rushing attack will give Kennesaw State fits. Kennesaw State's already had a really good year and surpassed expectations. And I think Jacksonville State wins this football game. So give me Jacksonville State. All right. Real quick, let's go over J-Ram's picks, and then we're going to get out of here. All right. So before we do the other games, here's a quick recap for you in case you would like to hear it. If you don't, that's okay. I like Notre Dame to beat Pitt. I like Cincinnati over Arizona. I like South Florida over Navy. Give me Duke over Virginia. I'm going to go USC over Iowa. I'm going to go Alabama over Oklahoma. I think that's going to be a fun game, though. I like East Carolina to beat Memphis. I'm going to take Utah over Baylor, Georgia over Texas, and Jacksonville State over Kennesaw State. Other games. Here's some other games. I meant to share this in an image, but oh well. So, tonight we got some MAC games going on. We had a couple last night, but we didn't pick those. Okay, so tonight I like Central Michigan over Buffalo, and I like Toledo over Miami, Ohio in those games tonight. Tomorrow night, 6-3 Troy, 6-3 Old Dominion. This is a big one in the Sun Belt. I'm going to go with Troy. I like Troy. I like what they're doing, their physicality. Friday night, Clemson, Louisville. This was supposed to be a huge game. Well, it's kind of lost some luster if you've been following Clemson. I could see Louisville losing this game, though. I really could, especially after the Cal loss. I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm picking Louisville to bounce back. All right. On Saturday, I like LSU to beat Arkansas and get bowl eligible. I like Miami over NC State. I like Penn State over Michigan State in a battle of 3 and 6 teams. I did not write Monroe's record down. Holy crap. I'll take a chance. Give me Lon Monroe to beat South Alabama. Give me Southern Miss to beat Texas State. Give me a surprise. Wake Forest has a hangover from the Virginia win. Give me North Carolina to beat Wake. Give me Liberty on the road at FIU. No hope in that one. Give me UNLV for an 8th win by beating Utah State. Mississippi State, Missouri. Oh boy. I'm a little worried about Mizzou here, guys. You know what? Screw it. I'm taking a chance. Mississippi State becomes bowl eligible, winning in Como on Saturday. I like Washington State over Louisiana Tech. It's so weird. It's a November 9 game. TCU BYU. This is a good one in the Big Ten. TCU, of course, limping from the Iowa State loss. That was a shocker this past week. Good one for Iowa State to help Matt Campbell. But I think BYU at home bounces back. And then finally, Boise State, San Diego State. I like San Diego State. Give me the Aztecs to bounce back. All right, so that is that. All right, guys, one more thing, and we're going to get out of here. I meant to do this in my news and notes, but that's okay. Check out your most recent FCS top 25. Lafayette jumps in at 25th. West Georgia, good showing, 24th. Southern Illinois, and then South Dakota at 21st. Southeast Louisiana at 21st. Abilene Christian 20th. The Penguins of Youngstown State 19th. North Dakota 18. We got Stephen F. Austin at 17. Jackson State 16th. Man, South Dakota State just keeps falling. They're 15th. Wow. So weird seeing them so low. So low. Lamar 14th. Illinois State 13th. Monmouth at 12th. Harvard jumps in at 11. Remember, the Ivy League does get an FCS playoff bid this year. Looks like it's going to be Harvard unless something happens. UC Davis at 10th. Rhode Island 9th. Mercer 8th. Villanova 7th. Tennessee Tech at 6th. We'll see them against Kentucky on Saturday. 5th is Tarleton State. Really good team. Lehigh 4th. And the heavyweights at the top, Montana State 3rd. The Montana Grizzlies at 2nd. And, of course, the gold standard, North Dakota State, is number 1. All right, guys. So that is a wrap. We actually are going to make it under an hour. That is awesome. That was my goal this week. And plus, I've got some stuff I've got to go do. So appreciate y'all that have hung it out with me, or even if you just passed through for a minute, that's okay. Hope you enjoyed the show. As always, we're going to close this thing out with a Bible verse real quick. We'll be back next week, hopefully a little better prepared. But we'll be back next week with our usual stuff. We'll have a recap of this weekend. We'll look forward to next week. We'll talk about the next playoff rankings, players of the week, my rankings, if any other coaches get fired, or any other big news. So our verse of the day, First Colossians 5:11. Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. If somebody needs comforting, comfort them. All right. Appreciate you guys. Hope you had a wonderful day. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourselves. God bless.